I once watched a woman in a $1,000 dress scream for help while sinking into a mud pit, holding a bouquet above her head like it was the last lifeline she had left on Earth. But none of that compared to the moment her guests blocked my ranch driveway, cutting off a critical livestock delivery because their GPS told them my land was a scenic shortcut. That was the exact moment I knew the universe had handed me a golden opportunity for payback. And lucky for me, I had 3 ranch dogs who were just as petty as I am. The morning started like any other, calm, productive, and smelling faintly of hay and strong coffee. I was halfway through realigning the cattle gates for the new bull arriving at noon. My ranch isn't fancy, but it's my pride and livelihood. For 100 acres of rolling pasture, a working barn, a few stubborn goats, and a trio of dogs trained better than most kids I've met. The peace shattered around 9:07 a.m. when a parade of shiny black SUVs and pastel sedans rolled up like they were filming a car commercial. I blinked. Was there a funeral no one told me about? They weren't slowing down. One after another, they rolled past the clearly posted private property signs and parked along my gravel driveway, some even nudging into the edges of my pasture fencing. I dropped my wrench and made my way down the hill. My boots hit the dirt just as a woman with oversized sunglasses and a walkie-talkie stepped out of a white Escalade and started yelling about flower placement. She didn't even notice me until I spoke up. "Ma'am," I said calmly, "you're on private property." She turned with a fake smile that could curdle milk. "Oh, hi there. Don't worry, we're just parking for a quick wedding ceremony up the road. My name's Dana. I'm the event coordinator." She waved her walkie-talkie like it was a badge. "And that gives you the right to park 27 vehicles on someone else's ranch?" I asked. Her smile cracked, but she didn't break stride. "Your place looked empty. We figured you wouldn't mind for just a couple hours. You have such a lovely view." The bride wanted to do her entrance with the mountains behind her. So romantic, right? Behind her, 2 groomsmen in tuxedos were trying to wrangle a folding table out of a trunk on my gravel. A woman in high heels was tiptoeing around cow patties like she'd wandered into a minefield. One of the kids had already gotten too close to my horse pen. I could see my bull delivery getting delayed, livestock getting stressed, and liabilities stacking up like hay bales in July. "You need to move the cars now," I said, stepping forward. "This isn't a venue. This is a working ranch." Dana huffed like I'd just asked her to donate a kidney. "Look, you don't understand how important today is. The bride's father is a judge, okay? We don't want any trouble. It's just for a couple of hours. Can't you be a good neighbor?" "Funny," I said, "because good neighbors don't trespass." She turned away, barking into her walkie-talkie. "Tell the florist to set up by the fence, not the barn. And make sure no one steps in the poop, okay?" That was the moment I knew reasoning was off the table. I walked back to the barn and whistled. 3 heads perked up: Hank, Lola, and Jasper. Working dogs, part shepherd, part chaos. They knew the land, knew the signals, and more importantly, knew when I was annoyed. Hank was a tank, broad-shouldered and low to the ground. Lola was the speed demon with an attitude. Jasper? He was the brains, the kind of dog who'd open the feed bin just to watch the chickens panic. I gave one hand signal, then pointed toward the cars. It started small, a tail wag here, a curious sniff there. Jasper weaved between sedans, setting off car alarms with his tail. Lola jumped onto an open trunk, scattering programs into the wind. Hank walked right up to a guest trying to light a Unity candle and knocked the lighter out of his hand with a casual nudge. Dana shrieked, "Get these dogs away. Someone control them." "I'd love to," I said. "But technically, they're on their property." Guests started panicking. A woman in stilettos twisted her ankle near the goat pen. A man in a tux took off after Hank, who had snagged a piece of floral ribbon and was prancing like he'd won Best in Show. Lola zigzagged through the crowd, muddy paws leaving prints on chiffon dresses. Jasper sat next to the cake table, just waiting. I walked to my truck and backed it across the only entrance, attaching the livestock trailer and parking the tractor. Congratulations, the entire wedding party was now locked in. Dana stomped toward me, covered in sweat, mascara running. "You're going to pay for this. I'm calling the HOA and the police." "Good luck," I said. "This land isn't in your HOA. And the sheriff? He's on my speed dial. I donate briskets every Christmas." She opened her mouth, probably to yell something about lawsuits, but was cut off by the honk of the livestock truck stuck on the road, unable to get in. The stakes had shifted from property to business. As the dogs herded guests toward the only open field path, I leaned on the fence, sipped my coffee, and smiled. The mud pit wasn't planned, but nature works in mysterious ways. Hank, Lola, and Jasper orchestrated chaos with surgical precision. Guests stumbled into muck so thick it devoured shoes and dignity. The bride, attempting a rescue, face-planted into the sludge. Cupcakes flew, dresses were ruined, and the guests were trapped in a living mural of ranch karma. Eventually, Sheriff Walker showed up, laughing as he stepped out of his cruiser. "Looks like your cows aren't the only thing getting wrangled today." He issued Dana a citation. Trespassing, reckless endangerment, and possible animal disturbance if that goat really did eat someone's purse. Even the HOA reps had to admit defeat when presented with my deed, predating their zoning plan by 15 years. Dana's fantasy wedding had turned into a legal quagmire and a viral sensation. My buddy Tyler, the photographer she unwittingly hired, caught every glorious moment on camera. He promised to blur the goats. By sunset, the guests had fled, covered in mud and shame. Dana sat on her SUV hood, dress wrinkled, phone dead, paw print on her back. Her voice was gone. Her pride followed soon after. I hung a new sign at the gate, "Private property. Trespassers will be escorted by dogs. They know where the mud is." Tyler texted me that night, a link and the words, "You're not going to believe the comments." I closed my phone and smiled. I hadn't set out to ruin anyone's wedding. I just wanted a clear driveway and some peace. But when someone invites chaos to your ranch, sometimes the only thing you can do is let the dogs handle it. And judging by the final tally, mud-caked shoes, ruined gowns, trespassing fines, and 3 very full-bellied dogs, I'd say they handled it just fine.